everyone. Hopefully you all can hear me. But hello and welcome to the Summer Transition Series webinar. My name is Casey Terrell, and I work at Duke University's New Student Program, along with Nicole Pontecorvo and Jordan Hale. So first off, thank you for joining us, and we hope that you find the information that's shared today helpful. Before we introduce the panelists, I wanted to kind of give a quick explanation for how this is going to work. So this webinar is one-way audio. The panelists will be using a mic, and you'll be able to hear us, but we will not be able to hear you. So instead, we ask that you send us questions through the Q&A box, and then Nicole and I will be moderating the session, and we'll go through and ask the questions that you submit to the panelists directly. Just so you all know, this webinar session is going to be recorded and it'll be posted online afterwards. So if there are folks who were not able to tune in, they'll be able to get the same information. Disclaimer, there are a lot of us in the room. So if at any point you can't hear any one of us, please send us a message and let us know, and we'll try and adjust so that you can hear it. So today's webinar will be focusing on campus resources, and we have invited a few folks from around campus to join us today. So panelists, if you could introduce yourself, maybe your name and where you work. Go for it, yeah.
Okay. I'm John Gorsuch from Duke University Stores. We represent everything you can buy within the store, from computers to school supplies, clothing, books, refrigerators, linens, etc.
And I'm Janine Sato. I'm with the Office of Information Technology. I'm the communications strategist, and I can help answer questions about how to find technology on our website, training, and lots of point you in the right direction to other technology resources.
And I'm Debbie Julia with the Office of Information Technology and the Duke Card office. I can help you with questions about your Duke Card, about the mobile Duke Card, what you need to do to get your photos uploaded and online and ready to get your Duke Card when you come to school.
And my name is Krista Jones. I work in housing assignments, and I'm responsible for all of your housing assignments throughout your entire time here at Duke. So I can talk about your first year assignments and then what you can expect after.
My name is Rodney Kozar. I'm here, the manager of the OIT service desk. We're responsible for helping you set up your password, helping you set up MFA. We're also responsible for the walk-up service desk. So when you get on campus and you have technology issues, need help with your computers, downloading software, things of that nature. We also rent out equipment at the desk as well. So we're your first line geek support to help while you're on campus.
Hi, my name is Nicole Knight, and I am a counselor in the Undergraduate Financial Aid Office. So all things aid related for those who have applied or are in the process of applying for need-based aid or federal funding to help pay for Duke.
Yeah, awesome. And we do have folks.
Hello.
Hey, if everyone can do me a favor and go ahead and mute your computer, that would be much appreciated. Really, the only reason is there are a lot of you and only there's like one group of us. And so we just want to make sure that no one is like talking over each other, and we just want to make sure that everyone is going to be able to hear the information that is shared. So thank you. So yeah, so we have OIT, financial aid, housing assignments. Yeah, and then we also have dining coming soon, so they'll be joining us soon. We have a question about computers. So specifically for students, what kind of computer is recommended? I think there's some confusion whether someone was told they needed a PC in order to run the necessary programs, and then others said they had no problem using their Mac. Yes,
So to answer that question for Pratt engineering students, there are about 5 or 6 Windows-based softwares that you do have to install. So if you do come with the MacBook, you will want it to have probably at least 512 gigs of RAM, 512 gigs of hard drive storage, 16 gigs of RAM, preferably an i7 processor, because you will have to dual boot the machine to run Windows as well as your Mac OS to be able to run those Windows-based software. If you do come with the Windows machines, you don't have to do any dual booting or anything along that line. You'll be able to straight install those softwares to your machine. So you can use either platform. It's just if you come with Mac, you will have to dual boot your machine.
Awesome. We had a kind of a follow-up laptop question, but this will be more for financial aid. So can laptops be paid as part of the first-year financial aid package? Just wondering how this works. Would like to order a laptop now to get it set up over the summer.
Okay, very popular question. As a first-year student, there may be options for financial aid to assist or aid in the purchase of a laptop. It does depend on the family and the financial aid that we've provided thus far. So you would need to contact your counselor or our general office email or phone to start that process of inquiring what we can do and how we can help and assist with that purchase. And we will guide you through the process based on your specific aid package. Another popular thing that we do see for first years is outside scholarships. So if you have or are applying for outside scholarships currently, do let us know that when you contact the office, and we will put all of it together to give you the best possible scenario for helping purchase a computer, whether it be through Duke or a third party.
And this is John from Duke Stores. There is one other option if you don't qualify for financial aid or scholarship, etc. There is the Duke University Computer Purchase Plan, which is a loan. It lets currently enrolled students finance the purchase of a personal computer system from the Duke Technology Center, that's the Duke within Duke Stores. Duke University funds the payment plan to afford all students the opportunity to purchase a personal computer system in support of their academic endeavors. There's a $500 minimum to put down when you buy it, and a limit of up to a $5,000 loan. The interest rate currently is around 7%, and you would need to make an installment payment each semester while you're in school. So we have more information of that about that that's coming in the mail to you.
And just to clarify, the specs that you were talking about earlier, those are specifically for engineering students, or is it more so?
That's specifically for engineering students, if they're going to put a Mac in. But those specs are still fine for any student.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. All right. Let's see what else we have. We do have a question about housing, Krista. They're talking about like selecting a room, but there's no pricing for that in the Blue Book. So could you talk about what that pricing looks like?
Yeah, so double rooms and single rooms, regardless of where you live on campus, they all cost the same amount of money. So if you're in a double room in Trinity, that's the exact same cost as a double room in Jarvis, for example. The rates are currently posted on our website, and I'm pulling that up currently so I can give you them exactly what they are. So for a double room, the cost is $8,924 annually, and that does not include your meal plan, but it includes all other utilities, so internet, water, heat, all those things. You don't have to pay for that separately. And then a single room is $11,788.
And for a triple?
Yeah, so the triples, the rate is not yet determined. So for triple rooms, we typically don't put them into place unless we need to for capacity reasons. So that will be kind of a case-by-case basis if that is an avenue that we decide to go down. However, they are typically about $1,500 less than the double room rate.
Just to add to that, If a student is receiving need-based financial aid, so you've got a grant and your award, we adjust for the actual cost you're being charged, so it does not benefit you to be in a triple or double financially. You will not pay Duke less because we will adjust our grant funding to match the actual charge. So if for whatever reason your student needs or would like to be in a single, that's perfectly fine. It does not change your family contribution.
There is a follow-up question to that. Are there many triple rooms available for freshmen if we identify it as a first choice?
So if we do decide to open up triples for the academic year due to capacity needs, we typically only have about 16 rooms, so that's 48-ish students that would be assigned to triple rooms. So that's a very small, that's probably 4% of the student population that would be in a triple room.
Let's see. We have a student asking, are all first-year dorms outfitted with twin beds?
No, they are not. They are twin XL or full, depends on the res hall that you are assigned to. That information is also on our website. And when you receive your housing assignment, we also include that information in your email. But right now, Southgate, which is currently being renovated and will open in the fall, that hall will have full-size beds as well as Trinity.
Thank you. All right, I'm scrolling because I know I missed some people's questions. There's a question about insurance. I don't know who would be able to answer that. It says the insurance rate listed in the blue book is that for the full year or is it per semester?
Health insurance is a one-time fall charge, so the amount you see is for the entire academic year. Actually, summer as well. It spans July 1 to June 30th every year. So that is a one-time fall charge, whatever's printed currently in the blue book.
Perfect. Let's see. We have another financial aid question. How do you accept Duke awards? It says when we click on the message, it says award access is not available. And then also, how and when do we report scholarships that we receive from outside of Duke?
Yes. So we will send you all an email in the next couple weeks, actually, detailing how to accept your loans and work study. We assume you wanted the grant, so that's automatically accepted, but we will give you access to the other two pieces approximately mid-June. And that email will also detail how to report outside scholarships. So you can either email our office right now telling us who is providing the scholarship, how much, and how you want it applied, as far as all in fall, split between fall, spring, so forth and so on. Or you can just wait until you receive our email telling you how to accept your aid and how to report. You will have the option of reporting directly through your Duke Hub. So it'll be a convenient place where you can just click report external aid and do so there. But as long as you tell the amount and how you want it applied, the method won't matter. But you guys can go ahead and do that starting today.
Awesome, thank you.
Hello. Hey, everyone. We're back in action. Okay, great. We're good.
Technology, yay!
I think a couple questions actually came in, so while we were waiting. But yeah, here's some. Okay. Let's start with this one. Back to health insurance. How do we apply for a waiver if we think our personal health insurance is adequate?
Student Health will be sending you all emails, also approximately mid-June. It's a big time, just look out for emails from every office. Student Health will email you to say that open enrollment is now up. We would like all students to complete the waiver. It will be on the Duke Hub. You will enter the information directly on the Duke Hub regarding your current coverage, policy information, and the Student Health Office will evaluate whether or not that coverage is sufficient while here in Durham for the course of the academic year.
Oh, it is working.
If the insurance manager deems your insurance to be sufficient, the charge will be removed from your bill. If not, and you receive need-based aid, our office is informed of that, and we increase your grant funding to accommodate the charge. But that is the only way for it to be paid for, is it must be deemed necessary while your student is here. For those who would like to opt into having both insurance plans, that is fine, but financially will not be able to pay for it using grant funds. But again, in mid-June, you should get that information from the Student Health Office regarding where to go on the hub to complete the waiver for the 2019-2020 academic year. And this is a process you will complete every year around the same time. So you will just remember that, make a calendar note this time next year to look for that again, to re-enter your current coverage info for the upcoming academic term.
Great, thank you so much. So we're going to move to another question, and it's coming through right here. Are the required fees listed in the Blue Book a one-time fee, or does that happen at multiple times?
Fees are yearly, so the mandatory fees that you see, you will see every fall and spring bill. So there's only one additional fee that you will see your first fall, and that is the registration for first-time students. After that, every term will have the same, I believe, 5 or 6 fees listed per term. So what you see in fall will be what you see in spring minus $100.
So while we wait for some other questions to come in, if our panelists maybe could share a couple of things or pieces of information that they feel like they either get as frequently as questions or just tidbits that might be helpful to everyone on the webinar right now, that would be awesome.
So this is first up from housing environment. So the housing application closes May 31st, and everyone has to submit their housing application by that date. If you miss that deadline, then you will not receive your housing assignment with all of your other peers that happens in mid-June. So it's really, really important that you get that assignment in. And a list of questions that you complete on your housing application, please be as honest as possible when you're answering those questions. We promise there's no judgment. We use those questions to pair you as closely as we can with a roommate. So that's why it's really important that it's honest. If you actually look at the application, we know we're going to let it help, but it's important that that feedback really comes directly from you.
Great. Question came in about printer access. So how would students access a printer on campus, or should they bring their printer?
No, we have an ePrint set up, which is a form of wireless printing. So you'll be able to print a document from your laptop and then go to a number of ePrint stations located across campus. Swipe your gift card and you will be able to share the print documents there. You get 32 virtual print dollars a year for an ePrint, and it's $2 per page, and your color copies you have to pay for.
And we have an ePrint mobile app, which we've been letting students know that is very popular, and so you can download that app. It's actually called Sparrows, it's the app name, but it's video can help you get that set up, and it just makes it a lot more convenient to print from pretty much anywhere.
Awesome, thank you. So while we wait for a couple more questions to come in, any other tidbits or pieces of information that you would share with new students?
This is John from Duke Stores. It's important for you to be watching your mailbox. This just went into the mail recently, information from Duke Stores, where it has information about ordering linens that can be ready for you at move-in day on August 20th. Information about textbooks, recommended computers, a micro fridge program where you don't necessarily have to go out and buy a fridge. We can make arrangements for it to be there for you. And also laundry service through the laundryman. So I encourage you to keep your eyes open for that and make sure you read it.
This is Rodney from the Service Desk. A couple things for incoming. Please don't buy Microsoft Office or Adobe Suite or any antivirus software, we provide that to you for free. If you need help setting that up, we'll be on campus, each campus on move-in day to help you download all that software. Also, if you sign up for multi-factor before you get on campus, please download the Mobile Duo app. It helps you log in a lot faster, it's a lot more convenient as well.
This is Debbie from DukeCard. Just want to remind you to upload your photos as soon as you can. If you once you upload it, you will get an email back letting you know if it's been approved. It's important that you do that so that your DukeCard will be ready when you get here. If you don't have a photo done by the time you get here, you'll have to take the picture once you're here, and it just holds up getting all your stuff done. And you do that where you go to dukecard.duke.edu.
Awesome. Great. So, let's see. Another quick plug in terms of checking mail, back to your point. Definitely a big important reminder to be checking your Duke email account. And actually, if anyone in the room, could you share, if a student doesn't know how to access their NetID or their Duke email, what would they do to do that so that they're not missing important information that's coming from different areas on campus?
If they haven't set a password for their NetID, they can give us a call or go to oit.edu/help. They can contact us there for us to help them get the password. At that time, we can also have a multi-factor as well. And then they'll be able to access their email. They can also do it online at mail.duke.edu.
Thank you. Any other tips from folks in the room?
I would say, Nicole from Financial Aid Office, for parents and students alike, once you get familiar with the Duke Hub, parents have the ability to have a guest access account, and we highly recommend that they establish that as early as possible. It allows the students to, one, give you access, but also protect your privacy. It gives them the option to make certain sections of the screen available to you as parents. So naturally, the bill, the associated activity, as well as financial aid information, or yes, as parents want to be great, students can opt into what their guests can and can't see. And it provides you as parents a separate login, so you're not dependent on the student for information related to their academics or their financial aid. So if you have not heard that before, do go to the SIS website and look up, or just from the duke.edu, just type in guest access to start that process and read about it, and go ahead and get that set up. Anyone with guest access will also receive a PDF copy of the bill every month from our bursar's office, which is very convenient for those who like to have that on hand. Those only with guest access will also receive a PDF copy of the bill each month. So be mindful of that as you are learning about establishing your hub and going through various sections, so that you have information readily available and don't have to go through your kids.
Great, thank you. So a question came in about laundry and dry cleaning on campus. Is there a service that does that, or can anyone speak to just how a student might go about doing their laundry? And we can pepper this around too.
In the mail that you're going to be getting, we offer the laundryman service, and there's a semester charge of from $570 to $750 for a semester, depending on the size of service you need. But that's all outlined in the mailing you should be getting soon.
And within the hall, if you don't use the service, every residence hall has laundry machines available for you to use 24/7, anytime.
Yeah, and a personal plug just for building that life skill of doing laundry. So yeah, definitely. Awesome. So another question, how do we get parking passes for the move-in time, and is there a fee for that? So we can maybe tag team this one. Do you want to go first? Or?
Sure.
Yeah.
So for moving day, I'm blanking on the timeline, but I think it's end of July, you'll receive movement information, and it will indicate the exact date and time that your residence hall is moving in. And on that communication will be a principal parking pass that you will put in the vehicle, and that will allow you on the East Campus to pull up right in front of your residence hall, unload, and then we typically park in a different garage off of East Campus, and Nicole can speak to that part.
Yeah, so then on move-in day, we'll have signs and folks kind of positioned around campus to help direct you, but really on that move-in day, when you come and arrive on campus, we'll have some student leaders called FACs, first year advisory counselors, and they'll actually physically help you move in all your belongings to your room. So they're going to be cheering and really excited to welcome you, but also logistically, they're going to be very helpful in getting your items up in a very efficient manner. And so once your car is unloaded, you'll move that car to a location on the other part of campus, on West Campus, and then you'll be able to shuttle right back. So then you can settle in, head to the marketplace, which is where you will receive your orientation schedule and other kind of important pieces of information. And then you'll have some time throughout that day to really just settle and unpack and get ready for the evening activities. So yeah, so it's a very exciting day. So we look forward to it each year. Awesome. On the lines of housing, is it possible to change a preference in the housing application once we've already submitted that?
It is. You can't do it yourself now. Once you have submitted the application, you no longer can access it again. But you can email us at housing@duke.edu and let us know what part of the application you want to change, and we can make that change happen for you. And you'll receive another email confirmation that reflects the change that was made.
Great, thank you. And I'm going to put out a piece of clarification regarding the housing and dining application. So actually, when you submit your housing application, you're actually not needing to submit anything in particular for dining. You're automatically going to be enrolled into Plan I, the first year student dining plan. So just to clear up any confusion that might be out there, there's no action that you need to take with regards to your dining plan. But if you do have questions about dining, and I see a few of them rolling in, please reach out to the dining office, dining@duke.edu. Unfortunately, there was a scheduling conflict, and so our representative from dining was not able to attend. If they're able to make it here at some point in the webinar, we'll get to those questions, but just wanted to throw that out there for those who put those questions. And we could do our best in the room to answer some of them. The one question that came in regarding that was, do freshmen use the same dining plan with board plan and food points? So all freshmen have the same dining plan, and so your board meals are actually your swipes that you'll use at the marketplace, which is right on East Campus, and then food points are actually dollar equivalents that work at other campus locations on East Campus, West Campus, and even some off-campus vendors and food trucks. So very kind of widely accessible in different ways that you'll be able to eat. So anything else anyone would add about board plan? Cool. So a question about guest access and how parents might be able to see student grades. I don't know if anyone in the room might be able to.
Yeah, I mean, that's to what you spoke of earlier. So guest access can be obtained by going to sysoffice.duke.edu/guest. Maybe you guys can put that in the notes. And they can sign up. There's instructions about how to get set up with guest access. And as described by Nicole, you can give permissions to parents to do a bunch of things, including brochure information. It's actually Duke's policy to not share your NetID password for security reasons. So you really do have to set up that guest access. We sometimes call it proxy access, and it can be referred to like that as well. But you go to that website and it walks you through. You do it through the Duke Hub portal.
Great. So heading to the next question here. So if a student is attending a pre-orientation program, do they stay in a pre-orientation dorm until move-in day, or do they have to leave on the 19th? So that's a great question. Without going into too much detail, it really varies based on the program. So some of our programs are off campus, while others are on campus. And so the most important piece is that students will have a place to stay regardless. So if their pre-orientation program ends the day before move-in, they will either already have had access to their permanent residence hall room, or they will get that access when they arrive back to campus. So definitely, if you have a specific question, once your student knows which particular pre-orientation program they're participating in, please reach back out to our office and we'll be happy to kind of explain it in great detail. Awesome. So let's see. I think, oh, what furniture comes with the dorm?
Good question. So every room comes with a desk chair, bed frame, mattress, depending on the residence hall, it might have a built-in closet into the wall or a wardrobe. It will have one or the other. And this is for every person in that room. So if you're in a double, everything I just listed will be duplicated. If you're in a single, then there's only one set of that furniture. And then there's also, again, depending on the rental that you're in, typically a 3-drawer dresser, or it might be 4 and sits under the bed. So it kind of depends on specifically what hall you are assigned to. And every hall also has air conditioning. The way you receive that air conditioning varies though. It could be in a floor unit, so kind of a standalone unit. It could be central air, or it could be a window unit.
Thanks so much, Krista. Speaking of dorms, what are some thoughts or information could you share on the performing arts dorm and maybe some of our other like specialized housing options?
Sure. So we have 2 living learning communities on each campus. One is the performing arts hall, and then the other is the sensory hall. So the performing arts, the faculty and resident person there kind of really leads that program and leads the programmatic components that will engage all of the students that are choosing to be a part of that community. And then for the substance-free community, all of the students there agree to an agreement that they are choosing to live a substance-free lifestyle. There's no, specific ramifications if you don't abide by that agreement, but it's kind of an ethical, community-driven decision that you will lead that lifestyle together. And then we also have focused program opportunities, which are led through various academic offices, and students that participate in a focused program all live together and then study together in different interdisciplinary classes.
Great. Thank you so much, Krista. So again, on the subject of housing, it's a hot topic. I mean, it's important, that's for sure. Are students allowed to bring TVs into the dorms? Or how can they watch TV if they can't bring TVs?
You definitely can bring your own television if you like. See all sizes come in on move-in day. We also, in our common rooms, have community television, usually at least one, that students can watch if they want to as a group. I think the one thing that I would say about television is really ensure before you buy anything that you wait until you have been assigned a roommate, a room, and are communicating. We have definitely overheard conversations where 2 roommates bring 2 70-inch TVs unless it's not going to work and someone so really ensure that you kind of pull off on that and so you're communicating with roommates.
Great, and that's a great message in general. Awesome. Speaking of kind of items for dorm room, do the majority of students purchase the mini fridge microwave combo, and is there a rental system? If so, how much would that cost?
I don't have the cost rate in front of me, but you can visit this website. It's dukemicrofridge.com, and there's where you'll find out the pricing, etc. And there's also a phone number you can call. It's 515-597-2303. And it's a combination microwave, a freezer, and refrigerator. It's all one unit. And it can save you from going down to the local big box store and buying it and lugging it to campus. Probably is much nicer just to pay the price and not worry with it. And that's also in the mailings that should be in your mailbox.
There's a question about how can parents stay in the loop with emails and information so that nothing gets missed. Is there a parent email setup? Answer is yes. So if if, when you were filling out your Duke admission application, if you listed a parent or family member and included their email, then they're automatically put onto like the parent and family email listserv. If that email has changed or you didn't put it and you now want to, or your parent wants you to, you can update that directly through Duke Hub under the student contact section. Some of them might already be in it, but you can definitely add them for sure. Similar to, there's a student digest that goes out for incoming students. There's also a newsletter that goes out for parents, and the first one goes out tomorrow. So be sure, if you want your parents to be in the loop or your family members to be in the loop, be sure to log into Duke Hub, and you can just double check who's listed and what email it's going to make sure that they are in the loop.
Great, thank you. So I think right now we're waiting for questions to kind of keep rolling in. Oh, and one just came in, hot off the presses. Do dorm closets have doors, and what are the window coverings? What do those look like in the room? So closets and windows.
Good question. So the closets honestly vary a ton based upon the hall that you are assigned to. All of them have doors in some capacity. It's just a matter of if it's a sliding door, is it a door that pulls out towards you? Are there two doors or just one door? So it really does vary on the rest hall. On our website, for every one of the halls, there are pictures of the closet, so you can kind of see what that looks like based upon the hall. And then for the window coverings, all the windows come with blinds, but we don't provide any kind of linen coverage.
Thank you so much, Krista. Appreciate it. And we're on the website. I'm going to actually share my screen with the group here and pull that up, because I think that sometimes it can be a little hard to find, but it's such a helpful thing. So, yeah, I'm on your site.
Perfect. And then if you go to housing information.
Got it.
And then there's a first year housing link.
There it is.
And so this has a lot of information right away at your fingertips. And then there's 4 menu navigation. There's one about amenities and services. Then there's one about the living learning community. So that's a great spot to kind of review in detail information about each of the communities we discussed earlier. Then the neighborhoods and houses link. That's the one that will take you directly to each of the residence halls. Some information about those halls and their specific and unique amenities, as well as the bed sizes, or bed counts, I should say. So how big are those halls? Because they vary a lot in size from outside of Trinity, for example. And then also there are some photos, and I'm hoping to get more photos up this summer. But there's some photos right now which you can take a look at of each of the rooms.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
It looks like there was a clarification on a question that was just talked about. So looking at like the parent access, it seems like the question actually was supposed to be about, is there a way for parents to see emails that are sent to the student? The answer to that is no, for a number of reasons, but I would tell you to be checking your email, and this is a great opportunity to leave the nest and fly those big, spread your big wings. But no, college is a time to define who you are and how you want to be, and so unfortunately, your parents and family members will not always be around to be checking emails constantly for you. So they have their own special communications, and they're both great. So their communications will be more geared towards, hey, this is what's going on around campus. Be sure to check in with your student on these things. Or like, hey, this deadline is coming up. Be sure to ask your students this. Or be sure to remind your students of that. So it's definitely helpful, but they will not be receiving the same communication. So just to clarify.
Yes, and this is Nicole from Financial Aid. In addition to that, various offices may have internal newsletters. Our office has a newsletter that goes out once a month. So anyone who wants to be on that listserv can do so through our financial aid website. They can enter their email address to get the general information of what's going on. specifically within financial aid and what's coming up for your students if that pertains to your family. But there is a point where all student communications do start going directly to the Duke specific email addresses. So you may have applied with a Yahoo, Google, Gmail account, but at some point all students will transition over. So it's really important that they either link their current email addresses that they may be using to make sure that all communications going directly to the student are making their way through all email platforms. But just a heads up, no, we cannot allow access to parents, but also communication will start to be streamlined through the Duke-specific email addresses we've provided your students.
Great, thank you all so much. A question circling back to dorm layout and dimensions. Once rooms are assigned and once you know your residence hall, will students get any specific layout or dimensions for things like windows or closets?
That's a great question. We do not send anything specific to your exact room assignment with the housing assignment information email. But you can reach out to our office at housing@duke.edu and ask for more specifications so we can provide them. Again, they will be generalizations specific to your residence hall, but not necessarily specific to your room.
Thank you. Thanks, Krista. So circling back to Duke email accounts. If we are having issues adding our Duke email to a cell phone, what's the best info on how to do this? And I pulled up the OIT help site because that's my go-to place. And yeah, yeah. Help.
About each phone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there are knowledge-based articles on the OIT site. But honestly, if you get stuck, you should always just call Rod.
Yeah.
You can just go to the help page and start a chat with us, or just give us a phone call, and we can help you walk you through the steps. It's not that hard, so we can help you walk through it to get you set up.
The chat feature is really convenient because you can be multitasking and fixing problems at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much available from every single page on the bottom right-hand corner of the OIT website, so you can't avoid it. So chat away.
Yeah, I pulled it up here so you can kind of see, but this is a go-to spot. So any email questions, issues connecting to the networks or whatnot, this is a great place to go.
Also, as a quick plug, we were talking about Duke cards earlier. While you can have the physical card, they're also recently rolled out the opportunity to have Duke card on your mobile phone. So I believe it's now both iPhone and Android and watch. So you don't necessarily have to have your physical card with you. So you'll be able to use food coins and swipe into your dining hall, swipe into the dining hall, swipe into your residence hall, using either your smartphone or your smartwatch if you have one of those.
Just another plug to make sure you get your picture in.
Yes.
You can't set that up until you have your picture accepted, and we'll send you an email to tell you that once your picture is accepted. Not that you're going to be able to use it until you get here, but it's nice to have that set up. So we'll send instructions for that, but your picture has to be accepted first for it to be ready in the system.
Great, thanks. So speaking of back to Duke email, can you change your Duke email to make it shorter? So instead of your first name dot last name at Duke, can you make any aliases?
You can have some aliases. Just your preferred will always be your first dot last name. But you can't short it, but it does have to meet the form of something dot something.
Yeah, and there's a page for this. It's also on the OIT website. It's called self-service. I think it's oit.edu/self-service. And there's a way on there to, once you have your ID set up and your password and you're logging in regularly, that's where you can go in and change aliases. And you can also set up multi-factor, which is your two-step, and a bunch of other interesting things. So it's a useful site.
We also had a question about talking about phones. How many apps or what apps specifically should students have on their phones to access some of this stuff?
Ooh,
There's a lot.
The Duke mobile card app, Mobile for multi-factor.
Barrels for e-print.
Blue Book when they first get here.
The Duke Mobile has the first year checklist on it now.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of good things on there and you can access directly.
And what's the standard Duke?
There's List Safe app too, which is a security app, which is a really good safety app on campus. Track your walks and call for UC too.
Yeah.
Do we have that maps on it?
Well, there's a trans block.
Duke Mobile takes you through all of that.
That's the one that should do less.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's gotten really big. It's a big app. There's a lot on it, and it's just one little tip that we added this year for Duke Mobile when you download it is that maybe you select camp menu, you can drag and drop your preferences. So the things you want to use, like drag to the top. You know, if you want dining hours and menu, drag that up there. If you want your first year checklist up there. Some things you do have to log into, like you click in and it's not like right there. You have to go through that ID and that's for security, just so you're aware. But the interactive map is really helpful. It comes right up when you open the app now, and it's just very easy to find buildings that way. If you're trying to get around the first week.
So long story short, start with Duke Mobile. I just logged onto mine and it has a ton of things. It has a directory, it has safety, it has maps, events, so you can know what's going on around campus, but then also e-print transportation access to Sakai, which is Duke's course management system. Duke Card, there's so much here. The first year checklist is a big one. So yes, when in doubt, start with Duke Mobile. And I'm sure during orientation and in a couple of weeks we have a webinar with some students, so I'm sure you could pick their brains too about what apps have they used and what's been helpful for them, but Duke Mobile is a good start.
Great. So a few questions now on housing. Can you chat about how renters insurance might work and any recommendations on if students need that, how they would go about that?
Yeah, so we strongly encourage everyone to get their own renter's insurance policy. Many times your parents or guardian's homeowner's insurance policy will not also follow you here. So you really need to get your own renter's insurance policy. And honestly, they're quite cheap. You can insure up to $50,000 worth in property for maybe $120 for the entire year. So it's definitely worth it. Duke is not liable if any of your property becomes damaged for any reason. So let's say you live underneath the bathroom and for some reason the bathroom leaks and now your bedding is damaged because of that leak. We are not responsible for replacing or reimbursing you for any damage. Also, if there's a theft, many renters insurance policies will also cover theft. So there's a lot of different benefits which you can gain from having a renter's insurance policy.
Thanks, Krista. Another housing-related question regarding mattresses. Can you maybe give a little sense of what type of mattresses, maybe not necessarily the size, I know we went through that earlier, but do you recommend any extra padding? Is that something students do?
Sure, yeah, that's a great question. I think a lot of it is dependent upon your personal preference and how firm and or cushy you like to be when you sleep. So majority of the mattresses are that blue vinyl mattress that you typically see at most college campuses. They're often more foam often more firm, but they are typically spring mattresses. They're not just foam mattresses. So they tend to be more on the firm side. So I often, especially at Moving Day, see lots of folks coming in with memory foam, cushion toppers, mattress toppers. And so that's definitely very popular, I think. And again, depending on your personal preference, you probably want to have something. Also, I have a young child at home, and so this comes to me very fondly, but there's the plastic mattresses, right? So if you're sleeping and you move and you don't have anything underneath you and the sheet and the mattress, your roommate or whoever else might be in your room will hear you moving. But if you have a nice, even if it's just an eggshell carton mattress cover in between the mattress and the sheet, you're not going to hear that same kind of crinkling as you would otherwise. So that's something else to keep in mind.
Could I put a plug in for the Duke Women program?
Sure.
Yeah, the Duke award-winning program. It's been serving students for 28 years here at Duke. The website to go to shop it is duke.ocm.com. And there they say that all seats are guaranteed to fit, and they'll be present here at Blue Devil Delivery when you're moving in on August 20th. Also, another thing to think about is they offer rugs. The less you have to haul here, the nicer, probably easier on mom and dad. And so they offer rugs from as low as $29.95 all the way up to $79.95, offering interesting, edgy things like shag and faux fur.
Wow.
So, I encourage you to check that out.
That's awesome. Thank you. So back to housing and and cleaning. Speaking of, yeah. So, Krista, can you talk a little bit about like how in between uses, if mattresses and the rooms are cleaned, how that works, and then in general, just how the dorms are serviced in terms of cleaning. Like, what are students responsible to clean versus what might be supported by staff?
Yeah, great question. So, all communal spaces we clean and service daily. So, bathroom, kitchen, common room, hallways, etc. So we are responsible for that. Any spaces within your room and or connected to your room, the students living there are responsible for cleaning. So we also go through the red light team. You can check out different supplies, so brooms, vacuum, paper towels. You won't necessarily see like cleaners specifically, but some of the larger things that maybe you won't want to purchase just yet will be available for you to check out to help and assist in cleaning your spaces. Every semester, the red light team does a health and safety inspection of your room to ensure that you are cleaning it and maintaining the space appropriately. And we'll provide feedback to you if we do see any concerns with that. I feel like there was another part to that question that I'm missing.
Like in between uses?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. So every summer, each room goes through a deep clean. So that means cleaning all of the vents and cleaning cracks in the walls and washing down all of the wall surfaces, every surface that might be in the room. Mattresses specifically get wiped down, and then we also have I believe it's a 5-year replacement cycle on all of the mattresses. So once they hit that 5-year mark, that building is fully replaced with new mattresses. But otherwise, if it's not getting replaced immediately, it's getting wiped down and cleaned as well thoroughly.
Awesome. We're getting really close to time, but we do have, I'm going to say 2 last questions, once again with housing. So one is, do we need to buy laundry supplies like detergent? And then 2 is, can you adjust the height of the bed?
Yeah, great question. So yes, we need to purchase your own laundry detergent. If you plan on doing laundry within the Red Hall, if you're using the laundry service, then we do all of that for you, obviously. And then for bed height, majority of the halls, you can change the bed height. There are some where you will not be able to. So Southgate, for example, we are moving to a junior loft bed system there, and so you will not be able to adjust your bed height over there. However, the majority of our other halls, we can adjust it to be pretty high in the junior lofted, which is typically around 48, 50 inches off the ground, or put it very low if you need to. And then obviously, if you have medical concerns and need your bed to be a specific height, we will 100% work with you to make that happen.
Awesome. Well, thank you to our panelists. Thank you for asking questions. I know we had a few technology blips, so thank you for kind of sticking through with us. As a reminder, we have been recording this webinar, and we will be posting it. So if you missed anything or if you want to refresh anything, you'll be able to access it and review it. Our next webinar will be Peer Connections, and that's happening in 2 weeks on June 5th from 4 to 5. We'll have a group of current Duke students who are involved in various things around campus. They'll be here to chat with you, answer questions, give advice. If you're unable to tune in live to any of the webinars, but you do have questions, there's a link where you can go online and submit questions for specific webinars that you have. And so we'll pull those prior to the start of the webinar. So let us know what you have. We'll try and get you answers. And there's also videos. If you have not checked out the videos, please do it. They're very informative, very helpful. They can also be found on that Summer Transition Series website. So if you click where it shows the schedule for each of the different webinar sessions, if you click on that, the corresponding videos for those offices are listed. So for instance, if you were to click on campus resources today, you would see one for dining, one for navigating your housing application, OIT, dining, I already said that, financial aid. So be sure to check those out too. But yeah, thanks for joining us, and we hope to connect soon.
Thank you. And if any of your questions didn't get answered also, please feel free to email our office. It's studentorientation@duke.edu. No dots, no spaces, no underscores, just studentorientation@duke.edu. Email us with anything, and if we can't answer it, we will find the right person for you to connect with. So we're here. We're kind of a good one-stop shop for you to start with, and we look forward to meeting you all in August, in a couple months. Yeah, great. Thank you all.